The Aegis of Champions. It is an immortal symbol of ultimate triumph. A vessel that bears legends across generations.
Dandy! He's gonna jump there! He goes 2, 3, 4, he gets him! Army players are dying. GG's gone! IG is your champion! Lions are doing it! Lions wins! TI3! Here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dash!
From all corners of the earth, they've come. Time and again. Each seeking to prove themselves worthy. To claim the champion's crest. And a place in the chronicles of history. Once again at hand. As veterans and newcomers alike have fought in tournaments around the globe for the chance to wage battle on the world's biggest stage.
He jumps in! Where's the Aegis? You thief in the night!
Exalted victories. Crushing defeats. Old rivalries rekindled, and new blood spilled. The road to the proving grounds was built upon struggle and sacrifice. Team Serenity. TNC Mineski. Champions, Windstrike. VGJ Thunder. VG Gaming. VGJ Star. OG. 2015 champions, Evil Geniuses. Team Secret. And now, Game Newell. Welcome to the International.
I've got a couple of quick housekeeping notes, and then we'll get on with the show. First, thanks for your patience in getting through security. We may not be able to get Admiral Bulldog in here, but we got all of you. You know, I do want to personally thank our Canadian neighbors. Putting on an event like this when you have people coming from 64 different nations is really challenging. So, Lakad Maratag to Canada. Yeah, I love you guys too. Last thing, the Artifact team is down at PAX, so they couldn't be here. But what they asked me to tell you is if you've linked your ticket to your account, you'll get a free copy of Artifact. And you're all in the beta starting in October in order to compete in the tournament. So good luck. Everybody enjoy the show. Have a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Vancouver. For the very first time in history, the International comes to you live from Vancouver in Canada. What a fantastic opening ceremony we've had. But how do you follow Gabe Newell after that? Top memes, by the way, Gabe. We do follow it with three fantastic people on our panel to bring you all their ideas and thoughts on what's going to happen over our first day of the main event. So we welcome two former TI players. That, of course, is the two men next to me, Fogged and Blacks. Great to have you with us as well. And a veteran broadcaster of TI as well. Do you like veteran or
Veteran sounds great. You know, every TI, I'm like, oh, it's another TI. And then I get here, I'm like, it's as magical as
it
ever.
is, isn't it? The opening ceremony, goosebumps. I'm a sucker for those ceremonies. I love them.
How many tournaments have we had this year?
I don't know, lots.
And that, just the difference. And then you have all this hype from me, and then Gabe comes out and memes us perfectly.
Yeah. Big up to Admiral Bulldog at home, by the way. Shame he couldn't be here. Black, great to have you here as well. You are the official Bulldog replacement.
I mean, I don't know if I should feel good or bad about that. I'll take it. Yeah, I hope it'll be a good replacement for him.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We're looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I just, so much to talk about and lots of people to introduce, obviously, as well, and so many things to get through before we can get to the first game. We're about 10 minutes away from the first game of the day, Liquid Optic, and it's already started on Twitter, Fogged.
I know. I saw that. We've got some spicy start to our day.
Yeah, looking forward to that. What are you looking forward to, Black?
Well, I'm like the certified Liquid fanboy, so definitely the Liquid game.
Right.
And I think that will be the highlight for me for the day. That will be juicy.
For me, it's got to be the best of ones. Elimination matches. Teams are going home. It's sad, but, you know, you don't get the story of TI without a few teams being knocked out. One in particular, the SEA Showdown. We got TNC versus Mineski. That's going to be a brutal round one match.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be tough. I like the best of ones as well, but I tell you what, they are tough. We do want to hear from you, of course, via all our social media channels. Make sure you're following the Instagram stuff. That will be some stuff on there as well coming along for you, as well as Twitter with the hashtag #TIA. If you're here as well, just tweet pictures, tweet your thoughts, support your teams as well. We'd love to hear from you via those social media. Now, we've got a number of broadcasters, of course, on our broadcast schedule for you. A lot of people here, actually, but no TI would be the same without the king and queen of the international, ladies and gentlemen. So let's bring them in.
How's it going?
I've been bribed into calling him the king or something. I tell you what, though, Casey, you need a proper nickname. I can't just keep calling you. You need a proper game nickname.
Well, Slack said he had a couple of ideas.
Oh, yeah. You could be KCCCC, KCCNC, Casey Lover 69, whatever you want.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, all right. Okay. I was thinking in honor of Canada, I could be Casey Looney.
Yeah, that's great. Come on, Canada!
Come on, Canada!
Currency!
Woo! Don't worry, we've saved our best jokes for later on.
Much later.
What are you most excited about this week?
Oh, my God. I'm an artifact, baby! I'm in! This is exciting. Now, we're at Canada's TI. I'm still freaking out over here, but I need some time to calm down. Casey, what are you looking for?
Or do you need a slap in the face, maybe?
No.
No, okay. We'll talk about that.
For after the show, Casey.
Never mind.
Lover 69.
Dude, that's not my name!
It is now.
No, it is not. Shut up.
Okay.
My favorite part was coming in here. We both actually got the chills watching all of the teams come in. I'm gonna seriously.
Oh yeah.
There's just something about the magnitude, knowing what everybody is here to play for, and then seeing all of you gathered here in one place from all over the world. And everyone watching at home, we're going to do our very best all week to make you feel like you're right here with all of us. We have some great content planned, I think.
Oh, yeah. We're going to make you too close to us, if you know what I mean. It's going to be one heck of a TIA, people.
Did you take an awkward pill? Like what?
Yeah, I sure did, Casey. We'll be right back with you.
No. We'll be right back with you. What is that? That's not...
I don't know, Casey. Just end the segment.
Fine. Can we hear from the fans, please? Back to you, Paul. God help me.
You're on your own, Casey. Sorry. He's a law unto himself. What can you say? He doesn't need an awkward pill either. Great for both of you. Again, as I said, great to have them both here as well. Be careful, fans. That's all I'm going to tell you when you're wandering the halls, because you never know when one of those two might jump out on you. They've said, like, the excitement, the build-up. It's not just today, though, is it, Fogged? It's 12 months. You've been through this thing. You get in the last TI. You then search for a new team, if you're Fogged, obviously. And then you get into a new team, and then it's 11 months of grind to get back again.
11 months. It's been a long year.
Yeah. And this year in particular as well, Black, with the DPC and having all these majors and minors and everything else, 21 tournaments for these players to play through.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams attended like for my taste, way too many tournaments. Some seem burned out, skipped a couple of tournaments at the end, but...
You've had to manage that, haven't you? All the way through. The teams have had to think about how much have I flown, and do I need to practice now, and it's been a lot to it.
It has a very big impact on you too. If you play too many tournaments, you just can't perform because you're tired. It's just not possible.
Yeah. What was your highlight from the season, though, Gods? What stood out? I mean, is there one game, or is there a tournament, or something, or a performance? What stood out?
For me, it's the fact that Liquid after winning TI stayed on top. Like, they weren't the best team all year round, but they were consistent. They were top 2, top 3 all the time. They come into TI once again as favorites. That's a first. We never have the TI winning returning team coming in. People expect them to win, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and they ended the season perfectly with a win at the Super Majors, which they hadn't won, by the way. The only thing they hadn't won was a major outside of their TI. Let's talk group stage. That was a fun 4 days, wasn't it?
Group stage was wild. I think we saw a lot of teams show why they're here, of course, but also signs of improvement as the tournament progressed. Because we saw, in particular, Liquid, right off the bat, had a bit of a rough start, and then they showed why they're that dominant team. Why what they did last year happened. Yeah. They were like, okay, we're going to play as many games as possible. We're going to learn. That's the best Liquid that we've seen.
Day 2, Black. OPTIC were bottom of the table.
They were 0-4, right?
Yeah, they were last in their group, and yet they've made the upper bracket. That's some performance over the last 2 days.
Yeah, the absolute last day, I think they went 5-0 to make it to the upper bracket through a tiebreaker as well. That was very, very impressive.
Yeah, indeed. All right, we're going to get more from all of our panelists in just a moment, but why don't we show you what the group stage looked like?
The group stage. 18 teams earned a place in Vancouver for the International, but only 16 are destined to face off on the main stage. The first 2 days of Dota brought many surprises.
The battle for the Aegis is on, and it's Matu snatching the Aegis to 4 Black Hole on the 4. They caught them all. Everybody's got triple kill.
Coming into day 3, the upper bracket spots were still up for grabs, and the battle in pursuit of them was fierce.
Could it be a triple rampage? Yes, it could. A triple rampage for Army. You gotta be kidding me.
2 open qualifier teams, Evil Geniuses and VGJ Storm, defied the established order early, seizing control of the groups from the very first day. But only VGJ Storm maintained their lead and guaranteed themselves a spot in the upper bracket by just the end of day 3. Defending champions Team Liquid were the victims of the most lopsided loss seen at the tournament this year.
Now the cleanup happens as Liquid lose for 39-1. Have we ever seen Liquid lose a game this bad?
But conceding that game seemed to light a fire beneath them, which drove them to a close to flawless run to the top spot. Unprecedented pressure, unforgiving opponents and nerves can often muzzle an otherwise fierce underdog. Day 4 for TI's first Brazilian squad was perhaps where said pressure struck.
I'm King RD, he's dead for 40 seconds, Combo's dead as well.
That's going to be the hopes.
It's just one after another, and Pain Gaming are going to be eliminated here at the International 2018.
CIS qualifiers Winstrike, contrary to their namesake, were left with the threat of elimination resting on their last series of the groups. OG, a house name in Dota, stood between them and their first main stage experience. A spectacular performance with their backs against the ropes gave them that chance.
They've already taken the fight against OG, now they come back with a 3-man surprise! OG, what did you expect out of that?
A convincing 2-0 tiebreaker over IG cemented it. OPTIC Gaming was another team who became all too familiar with the perils of the group stage.
You are! They've got the damage. Pike's going to be no escape. Piker! He's dead for 110 seconds!
But an undefeated run on day 4 took them from the fear of elimination to being within arm's reach of the upper bracket. A 3-way tie. Newbie, Secret, and OPTIC. The idea? 3 best-of-1s between the tied squads. The reality? 2 quick games of Dota that crushed Newbie's chances of another upper bracket run. As the last throne fell, our main event bracket was set. Now each team knows their next opponent, but little else is certain, except that the Aegis of Champions awaits in Rogers Arena.
We may have lost 2 of our teams so far, and today we'll lose 4 more, but that's all for later on because we're going to focus first off at the start of the day with our 2 upper bracket matches between 4 fantastic teams. We've already mentioned Liquid and OPTIC's route to the upper bracket quarterfinals, but 2 other teams will be in attendance as well. We've got the magical match of PSG LGD versus Virtus Pro coming up as our second match of the day as well. I can't even believe that those 2, one of them's going to the lower bracket in round 1.
I can't believe that on the opening 2 matches of TI, we have 3 of the top DPC teams right away off the bat.
Yeah, 3 out of the top 4, and they dominated the entire season between the 3 of them. We're going to turn our attention to these 2 teams, Evil Geniuses and OPTIC. I find it interesting that they picked OPTIC. Are you on board? Because we should explain as well to those that aren't aware, you were able to pick the team from the lower bracket in their opponents. Of course, the champions, the defending champions of TI7 is Team Liquid. All-star lineup, champions from last year, looking for a second ages as well. Amazing that we've got 6 players, gods, in this match. This first match of the day, 6 of them have already won at the International.
Yeah, I think for OPTIC particularly, you got to look at that guy, PPD, TI5 champion. He's the one that needs to keep everyone calm, lead this team, give them that confidence to take on TI7 champions Liquid, because you got to imagine there's a lot more nerves in their booth than Liquid's.
And Black, we were talking about this last night, you and I. You had some interesting opinions about PD. Seems to have this uncanny knack of being able to bring players up and bring them together.
Yeah, personally, I feel there's only like a handful of people who can do that in Dota, and PPD is definitely one of them. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, he can make you great, and he makes like every team work. there hasn't been a team that really failed under his leadership, I think. So this guy I think really deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, maybe even Fold could have done well.
Yeah.
So come on.
Well,
that was too early. That was too easy. I'm glad we're bringing up right away, though, the captains. Because I know in a lot of matchups, people are talking about, all right, the mid, sure, all these roles are important. But for this one, I do feel like it's a lot of a mind game between Kuro and Peter.
Yeah, they are two legendary captains. It's going to be interesting to see how they draft against each other as well. There are lots of mind games. I mean, it's already begun on the social media. We've had Liquid. I can't remember the last time Liquid got that feisty on there. But you guarantee Peter's got those draft tweets already, isn't he? If they manage to win here, he's gone ready.
He's not going to... I don't think so. Because Peter lately, right, when he does win after someone does something like that, he kind of stays a little quiet. He knows he's like, actions speak louder.
Absolutely. That's the best way to return them back. They have met 3 times before, Gods, over the DPC. It's mostly gone Liquid's way, but there was a 1-0 win in the middle of that at DAC for OPTIC. Can we read too much into that? Or it's such a different game now, isn't it?
It's changed. It's also just a different beast when it's TI, so it's a nice maybe reassurance probably on OPTIC's mind. Hey, we did get that 1 win. They're not unbeatable. They're human like us, but it's just so different when you're playing at TI.
Yeah, I know we're focusing on OPTIC. It's mainly because what more is there to say about Liquid? They're back again. They're in great form. They won the Super Major at the end of the season. But focusing on OPTIC for a moment, how do they cope with this? Because for some of those guys in that book, this is a new experience. I know they've played in big tournaments so far, but this is TI. It's different, isn't it?
Wick, it's Quinn's first one, right? Yeah. So, well, actually, he was at the last one, but not playing.
33 played in the last one.
33 did play at the last one. The rest of them are all experienced, but I mean, it's definitely a different monster when you're on this type of stage, no matter how ready you can be.
Yeah,
you're playing versus the last year champions right off the bat.
And there's a different expectation this year, isn't there, on those players? I mean, I think last year there was kind of like they're going to struggle. It's going to be tough for them last year, both 33 and for CCC. This year, they're in a championship-winning potential squad.
Yeah, they are, and they're also starting from the winner bracket, which a lot of people didn't really expect at the beginning of the tournament, and they definitely gave themselves a very, very good shot at actually going deep into the tournament. But of course, Liquid has other plans for them.
Yeah, I mean, all of you, just feel free to chime in. What do you make of this? It seems unrelentless from Kuroki. It seems like he won't stop until he gets 2, and I get the feeling that if he wins ages, I want 3. There's just he seems to have limited motivation, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. If we get...
There's a lot of amazing players in Dota with great legacies, particularly spanning even further back to before Dota 2 with Dota 1, and there's no one player or team that's really made that we're the best kind of legacy yet, and I think that is what motivates Kuro. That's this team as a whole, but particularly him, because he's one of those few from the old guard who's continued to play from 10 plus years ago. He wants to be remembered as the best Dota player ever.
Yeah. Is there a hint of the original Na'Vi legacy that he was obviously a little part of when he went into that team? Did he see a little bit and think, oh, these guys have made 3 finals in a row. That's as close as anyone's ever got. Is there an element of that? He kind of maybe saw legacy potential there?
Definitely. I mean, TI is already kind of this legacy thing for Kuro. If he makes it like this, it would brand him as probably the best of all time.
And there's definitely this big rivalry, I think, between those big captains, PPD, Puppy, Kuro, some of the Chinese captains like Zhao Wei, who's no longer playing, but those guys were always up there, TI after TI, competing in the top 3, top 4, so it's kind of yet to be proven which team and which captain is going to be remembered having won the most TIs.
Isn't it crazy, as we wait for the draft, by the way, isn't it crazy, Black, that we're in the 8th international, 35 different players have won the Ages, and 7 different organisations. Also, if it carries on this year the way it has done in the past, it's an even year, and it's the 8th year, by the way, which is very lucky in China. And therefore, therefore, it's a Chinese team that wins this year who has no players that have ever won before and not an org that won. LGD win this, don't they?
LGD or...
Everyone else can go home.
What about Serenity?
Well, Serenity could win it too. Yeah. Good point. Vici could do.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that could potentially win it for the first time. Even VP, favorites for a lot of people. If they would win it, they would be the first timers as well. But of course, it would bring the curse or whatever people want to call it.
Yeah, I think their turn's next year if it follows round, isn't it? Because Na'Vi won obviously all the way back, so it goes CIS, North America, Europe, CIS, North America. So it's their turn next time, right?
Should be.
Yep.
I don't know if we can cope with all these memes and
I don't think
curses
they can.
and streaks.
They can't either, right? VP's been dominant throughout the whole year.
Yeah, they've been fantastic, haven't they? LGD, though, great end to the season. they've got a genuine shot, Black, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, when did they start? Like 3 months before the season ended? They started, and suddenly they ended up like top 3 of the season. It was insane. They just got second tournament after tournament. They won a lot of tournaments. It was an unprecedented run.
Yeah. What was the difference for them? What changed?
They shook things up a bit. It was the roster change, really. Like they brought in X-Nova, they brought in Chalice, they brought in some young blood, and those guys just, I think, had this drive, this motivation just to win and prove themselves. They work well. The team just meshed better around FY as a captain, and that's all you sometimes need is just, you know, a fresh perspective.
That's what I was going to point out is the FY factor, is that he was playing off lane and then he got swapped to support, so he could do his captaining role from the proper one.
I mean, he's a support. I mean, he's a godlike support. He's a legendary.
Exactly.
What is he doing in the off lane?
Yeah, FY off lane is, we just want to forget that.
Don't forget that, yeah.
He wasn't bad by any means, but it's not him.
No, it's not what he does.
Yeah.
Let's talk heroes, because as I said, we're moving towards the draft, just waiting for the players to get rid in both of these two booths. Surprises, gods, from... When we kind of came in, we kind of went, we don't really know what the meta's going to be. We've had a 2-month break. There's not really been that much action. It'd be interesting to see what all the teams brought. I think the one thing that we found out is that all of the teams value Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress super high. There was quite a lot of like new niche picks that came out. The Wraith King, alongside that, Ursus, Clinxes, heroes you haven't really seen throughout the entire DPC season. It's just suddenly a whole new kind of meta of its own here at TI.
It's like a matchmaking meta, right?
Yeah, a lot of it came from the pub play before TI.
There was like a very long break, and obviously all of these guys, they play a lot of matchmaking. And like these Wraith Kings, these Clinxes, they all got first picked in matchmaking all the time, and I think that's where like all these picks are coming from right now.
I think it's pretty cool that this year it feels different for me, because in the other years I felt like we started to learn after like 2 or 3 days, right? We started to get this establishment of the meta, whatever you want to call it. But this year, these teams are all practicing here for quite a long time. So right off the bat, first game, we're like, Venge first pick, and we're all looking at each other like, all right, well, the rumors are true. I guess there is its own established meta already.
Yeah, I want to bring that up, actually. Venge is potentially one of those heroes that is going to be hotly contested between these two teams. The weird thing is they're one of the only two teams where the 4 and the 5 play the Venge, and they're quite happy to switch that around. They don't really mind too much whether it's a kind of a more attacking 4 or a more passive 5. Both Kuro and GH have got equal number of games from the group stages, so you'd assume they both want the Venge.
Yeah, more than likely. I think there's a couple heroes that we have that are very flexible, that are lying amongst that role, that have risen in popularity in the last week or so.
Yep, and also can be played as a core.
Yep.
That goes back to what we were talking about. I think right at the very beginning of the DPC season, Black, was that flexible first 2 picks are preferred. They like those things that can be switched in and out of a core.
Yep.
Is it a core? Is it a 4? Is it a 5? They like those kind of picks.
I mean, Venge is probably not as good as the core anymore, because they nerfed the talents, which were really good for a core before, and now they're more like, they fit the support role better.
Yep.
So we will probably see it as a 4 or 5, and then like leave the core picks for like later in the draft.
We do see people vary, right? Like I think that's why, for me, I saw the rise of all these heroes. It's like the Mirana, the Wraith King, the Venge, is because you pick these early on, and someone counterpicks you, and you're like, all right, well, Mirana, your support, whatever. You just relegate it to whatever you feel needed for the draft.
Are you surprised, Gods, about the earliness of the Broods and the Huskars that we've seen in the groups?
Yeah, Brood was a hero, I think, very important for this matchup particularly, because both teams play it very well, Matu and 33, and to the extent that this is a matchup that we're talking about between the two captains, Kuro and PPD, you've got to look at which players pick can kind of win them the game. And I think with OPTIC, 33, he's the guy who plays those niche heroes, can play some weird picks. And for Liquid, you look at Miracle. He plays everything. He'll take that 10th pick of the draft usually, win you the game off whatever he's playing. So definitely the hero pool for those two plays very, very different, of course, and I think much smaller with 33, but the kind of things that can just win you games, like the Brood, the Husker, these kind of cheesier picks.
I feel like it's kind of cool that we have this opening matchup, and these two teams, I feel like, are the ones that aren't afraid to go a little bit outside the box with some of their picks. Like, they shared this Venomancer, right, where they see these melee heroes a couple times, they'll pick the Veno. They're not afraid to try heroes that I feel like other teams are a little bit hesitant on going for.
What about the Kuro Clinx?
I didn't get to see that game.
You did not see it?
What about the Phoenix Core?
I didn't get to see that one either. I saw bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, there have been some out there stuff, which is always fun, isn't it, for us? Because we kind of sit there watching, and you're trying to watch one of 4 games that are going on in the group stage, and you kind of, what are they going to do with this one? It's very interesting to see that it is a meta, but it isn't a meta. It's almost like a personal team meta, that are they trying stuff, or are they confident they can win this match, therefore they can be a bit riskier? You never quite know, do you?
Nope, and these teams have now had some time to prep and wait, right?
Yeah.
So now, are we going to come in here and see the exact same thing from the group stages, or are we going to see a little bit of a switch up.
Most banned for OPTIC during the group stage. They banned Enchantress 11 times, which would suggest they don't want to play against it, but we've seen that an awful lot from a lot of the teams as well. Interestingly, on the other side of the fence, Liquid haven't banned it. They're like, come at us, bro.
You've got my control. He loves Enchantress.
Yeah, he's like the incarnate of Enchantress.
Yep.
He always plays it on pubs, and he plays it really well. No reason to ban it, honestly.
And then, of course, we have the other issue of the unbannable GH. Who just seems to have more heroes these days that he can play really well, and it's even scarier.
And a lot of those heroes have come back in the meta, like Earth Spirit, the Nyx Assassin, Earth Shaker. He plays all these heroes incredibly well from the 4 position. You add that to his typical IO type picks. He's very hard to draft against.
Yeah, they've banned a lot of IO. That's their second most banned for OPTIC as well. Amongst their bans, Templar Assassin, that's another hero that's come out of nowhere. We saw a little bit here and there. It was more like a counter pick, wasn't it, earlier on in the season, depending on what the mid matchup was. But now it seems to be properly back, but hasn't seen a great deal of success.
How is it actually doing here?
Overall,
I know a lot of teams are picking it. That's the thing. So that changes it.
It's 56.5 after 23, so it's not terrible, but it's not it's not like it's game winning 75% or something.
Yeah, usually TA tends to lose when it gets like late game.
Yes,
because the most cores just scale way better than the TA, and the items they can itemize way better than the TA. It's more like a mid game finisher. You get the ages, you push the high ground, and that's usually how you end with the TA. But here the games have been actually quite long, I think, right? A lot of them. Especially the TA games, they have been quite long.
I feel like a lot of the games have gotten to the point where it's incredibly farm heavy. Like we have the the matchup. You're like, okay, they counter pick TA versus Lina. All right, what are we gonna get? And then the TA's doing Ancients all game, and then the Lina is also doing Ancients all game. So like, oh wow, all right, this could go either way kind of now. And it seems like the Chinese teams in particular don't really mind playing that Lina versus TA matchup.
Yeah, we've even seen Linas beat TAs in lane.
Yep, I saw Ori.
Yeah.
Ori versus no one. Ori solo killed him twice. That was pretty remarkable.
It was intense, yeah.
There's a man waiting on the commentary desk who is very happy that the Drow is back.
Oh, the Drow is back? And also...
And it's doing very well, I have to say. 65% win rate off 20 games.
And one of these two teams pick Enigma as well.
Yes. Yes. I think we might just see the Enigma in this series.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah. It's been a lot of changes to the meta black. What have you made of it as a whole in the group stages? What have you enjoyed about it?
Dark Willow.
Dark Willow is one of those that's kind of gone in and out of the meta, and it is in this particular game as we welcome you to draft number 1 of OPTIC Gaming versus Team Liquid.
Team Liquid's turn to ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to pick.
replay fail. I play this way, I didn't think that very good. So the second view is quite very good.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. OPTIC Gaming's turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Team Liquid's turn to battle. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. OPTIC Gaming's turn to ban. OPTIC Gaming's turn to Team Liquid's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
In the history of the internet, we have a little bit of a mix-up here.
33 has to be the X factor for them in this series. In their last 29 games, dating back to the Summit 9, they are 0-13 when he has more deaths than kills. They are 13-3 when he has more kills than deaths. They are going to need to hold up with 33 in his lane if the green wall is going to stand up to the assault of the defending champs. But guys, let's get this TI8 main event party started.
In this series, when PPD comes in and plays against a team that he has studied a lot. Swinging between being a position 3 and a position 5 most of the time. There's been phases where it has been a 1, but this is very uncharacteristic, and it's something
he's not just going to sit there and play Team Liquid's draft, play Team Liquid's game, and Team Liquid are doing, like, yeah, they've mixed it up. We had the Lich pickup for Kuro, like, he's been playing the Wraith King as well, so the panel saying it's very dynamic in the way OPTIC can actually lane everything they've got, but Liquid were looking for the same level of flexibility. You don't want that being behind at the draft feeling at the very beginning, and both teams, like, they'll have to feel pretty comfortable with this. And thinking about the logic too, like, why does the Abaddon pickup really work here? Like, who is it against? Who's it meant to shut down?
I think it's, from what I could tell, the first thing that the panel covered is this 5-man style, but I feel like Abaddon should, in theory, be a really good pick against Dark Willow. I do believe the one problem he has is I think you cannot actually...
Yeah.
This 2 rooms?
It's 3 for Liquid, 1 for OPTIC.
He should be fine. He can shadow roam TP. He's probably going to get it. So... Good start for Liquid, they get that extra rune. It's going to cost them a bit of regen there for GH, but they're probably happy with this. So Abaddon's Aphotic Shield, obviously removing these stuns, is really useful against the Wraith King. It's great against the Dark Willow, who has multiple ways of locking heroes down, but I do believe you cannot actually remove the Terrorize on yourself by activating your ultimate. You can, however, remove it on allies, if I remember correctly.
Of watching that top lane where 33 just gets harassed up by mind control. It's a level 1 Searing Arrow. The medic has finally arrived on the top lane, so Zaya's come up there to make sure this DK lane is safe. It's going to be secure for 33.
And just looking at OPTIC can be flexible with their lanes, and I wonder which team feels like they got the better deal out of this. So Lich dual lane off lane is a classic. The panel was saying that Dragon Knight wants to play against the Clinks, so as far as that goes, that's good for OPTIC. Tiny against Alchemist is a Tiny favored lane in the beginning, but Alchemist ultimately will start gaining his farm in the jungle. And then finally in the bottom lane, this Abaddon Weaver lane is actually a really old classic from years back. Gives Weaver that extra bit of tankiness that it's lacking. You send in the Weaver aggressively with Shikuchi, you have that buffer from Aphotic Shield to protect and deal damage. And we'll see how these lanes go for them.
Oh, Matoma's copying a fair chunk of damage.
So is PPD now. Abaddon has 0 armor, and he's playing without a stout shield, so that hurts.
At least he'll get a stick now, so actually there's not that much spam, maybe from GH to cause some problems. But how does OPTIC actually deal with the mid lane? We've seen Tiny versus Alchemist. I think Samel was the best example from the group stage where he just followed the Alchemist wherever he goes. Do you want that kind of level of aggression from CCNC, or is it on the rotation from the side lanes?
Well, what I generally like to say when Alchemist is in the game and it's a core, then it's an Alchemist game. Like, he is the centerpiece of the game for both teams, really. You can't just leave Alchemist completely unattended. So first of all, you want CCNC to aggress in the lane, What Sumail did in the group stage was kind of extreme in terms of aggression, but in the right case it can be great. Generally what you do though is bring supports in to try to contest Alchemist's jungle camps. You try to either steal them or kill Alchemist as he's farming them. But we'll see. I feel like CCNC as a player doesn't really have the same super aggressive mindset that Sumail does, however. So I would be surprised to see him starting to dive that tier 2 tower minute 4, like we saw Sumail do against Somnus earlier on.
PPD, they just want to trigger off shield nice and early, looking for that extra damage. GH has got it, but not enough. 10 HP, and PPD denies himself on the bottom lane. Does not want to give them that first blood.
Close call.
Real close, probably too close.
A little more charged up on that Shadow Realm, and I think GH had it, but he was worried that PPD was going to fog him in the trees on the right, so had to go for the attack there, and PPD with the quick maps.
The other intense lane's been up on top. Mind Control's been trying to harass down both Zai, but his positioning Zai's been absolutely terrific. Always backs off, lets 33 take a couple of extra hits, and there's a lot of consumables left up on that top lane, so it feels almost null to this harassment damage that Mind Control does. Gets hit by dual breath, there's even less power. We're going to have another crackdown on bottom lane. The Bramble's in position, PPD will catch up on the 2 for GH, topping a lot of damage. PPD again! 2 for 2 on the denial!
Oh, no.
Feels like they got something else. Nightcap, care of the Bramble. There's the Briar Patch, and Matomba's able to get the stun off. Weaver still with a decent amount of life thanks to the stick charge from before, but he's so slow. Half a second, he needed it. And he had it to get the Shikuchi off and back underneath the tier 1 tower in relative safety.
It might not look that big, but Nightcap popping that Bramble actually cost him so much regen. He's going to have to send out extra regen. Matomba Man obviously taking advantage of it, getting that Wraithfire Blast out, doing a lot of extra damage.
Kuro rotates in towards the mid, just harassing down CCNC. They'll burn the salve and they'll back out, but huge thing as well is like GH has had to walk all the way back to bait. It's been the return to the lane.
This rotation from Kuro from top to mid is very natural for him because he wants to check the 4-minute rune, and he just walks in. Not sure if he's trying to next level OPTIC here by pretending he warded. He didn't actually have ward with him. Usually you do ward for that nighttime in the mid lane, but for now Kuro didn't have it on him. I would imagine it's flying out soon for their courier. As for OPTIC, nobody actually has a mid ward right now, which should be really important. You want to control these runes when you're tiny. You want to get this, for example, haste that CCNC has right now. One of the best heroes in the game to get a DD on.
Yeah, instead they got the ward down the bottom top lane, harassment pretty heavily into Mind Control. He's got the skeleton walk, so backs off. They're looking towards Zai. Kuro, he wants to lend the Frost Blast. Got it off cooldown right now, pops it onto Zai, but Mind Control is the 5-minute bounty runes as well. Watch the players rotate off. They need to get much of this as possible. That's why bottom lane, Matomba's already fighting with GH, harassing into Pycat and PPD. They'll pull the entire creep wave along with them. So it'll only be a 2 for 2 trade-off unless Pycat really wants to commit. That's why they shield him up. GH can't fight back. He doesn't have Shadow Realm available through the tree lines. Kuchi comes off cooldown. GH has to pop the right. It's only just come up and they have the damage. This should be the first blood. GH needs to duke it out. Rumble in 1 second time. No more stick charge available. Pycat claims the first blood on what has been a very denied off lane.
They're going to retreat back and grab this second bounty rune, so it should be a 2 for 2 split, it looks like. And yeah, OPTIC probably looking pretty fine here right now. They have a relatively lead in the mid lane in terms of experience. CCNC almost a full level ahead against Miracle. Obviously net worth super inflated. It is an Alchemist we're talking about. You do imagine that OPTIC will want to try to counter Miracle relatively soon, and that's a bit of a question mark for me with their draft. Like, who's actually going to go and pressure this Alchemist? Your support duo is a Bad and an Io. So your cores, they have to
Bramble. Pycap, he can't Shikuchi. He's got a couple of stick charges. Raindrops will come back up to protect him for a bit of time, and then Shikuchi through the trees. Needed to wait as long as he could, so he actually got the charge off. Now GH actually gets hit by the swarm. That's enough to make him think twice about initiating. But Matomba wants to go in deep. PPD's really, really low. Can shield up. There's still 9 stick charges for Matomba. And GH with the attack. He played it perfectly until the shield exploded. And then hits with the Shadow Realm. And could get on the board.
But they do, and obviously looking across these lanes, it is relatively even right now. So nobody in this game, and this is something about Liquid that I feel like separates them from other teams when you look across their games. All of their players seem to have a really good ability to carry any given game if they're in the position that needs to do it. They don't have, it doesn't have to be Miracle winning the game for them. Some games Mind Control takes over, some games Matumbaman takes over, and it looks pretty healthy for them in this game because all three of their players are in a position where they can be aggressive come the 10 to 15 minute mark. Both the Klink's Wraith King as well as the Alchemist will be online to be able to get some fighting going.
Yeah, especially if Alchemist can find a little bit of time just to go into those side camps. He's already got the double stack to work with. Zai in trouble, trying to retreat back up, so 33 had to land the Dragon Tail stun to stop Mind Control from beating into him, but Zai comes back in again. He's so low on life, 15 HP is still enough to survive, and now move over to claim that Dire Shrine inside the jungle.
It looks like Zai will take it alone. Obviously 33 doesn't want to give up any experience or
He doesn't have Shadow Realm, and he'll be okay.
As the panel pointed out though, the Swarm is a really nice skill to have against Dark Willow, especially in the, well, at all stages of the game really, just to be that Pestilence, prevent Dark Willow from being as mobile.
Because it still attacks too through Shadow Realm, right?
I do believe, I mean, it definitely sticks. I do think the attacks go through as well, so you can't blink, but I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, Dark Willow definitely cannot remove it, and that is a very big deal.
I had Fog during the group stage, and he's always a good, reliable source. Yeah. But so far, like, even with this early advantage, you've got the Alchemist getting a lot of farm in, and he's a 4.8k net worth, that looks great. But OPTIC still have 3 players contesting that top net worth position, and it's only 1k advantage for Team Liquid, 8 minutes in.
Miracle does look very healthy though. Got out of this laning stage very well on the Alch. Had a bit of a hard time in the start, but yeah, the same CS.
CCNCs can just dive this anyway if he wants to. Zai can tether over. He just needs to find where Miracle is. Sees him in the tree line, but CCNC's Haste Room wears off at the wrong time for him.
Very good awareness.
Matumba, not level, actually he is level 6, does not level up Reincarnation. He went 3-1-2. So no second life for him.
Yeah, I think even if he had it there, he didn't have the mana. Yeah, nice kill, grab for OPTIC. In the mid lane, CCNC putting some pressure onto Miracle, forcing out that Chemical Rage, so we'll give a short moment of opportunity to maybe try to go for a kill later on.
GH is looking to move up and change the balance of this top lane. Zai may not be ready for it. The Bramble throws down. Zai navigates it absolutely perfectly. CCNC's name with the damage on the Zai will be enough. Mind Control finds the kills. The Klinks with the Searing Arrow. And maybe now full retreat with CCNC arriving in the lane. This is not where Liquid want to be, but they've managed to split all 3 ways, and they're back out to safety.
And in the meantime, this is a free mid lane for the Alchemist. Miracle very happy to see this rotation off from the Tiny. He's going to make the most of it, actually claiming half his tower already.
Oh, Zai tries to TP in to take the creep wave off the tower. And CCNC does return, so Alchemist is happy with it, back into jungle farming.
Pycat on Matumba bottom. Bounty runes are about to spawn, so both of them want to be in range to contest. Oh, Pycat misclicked! Oh, he wanted to grab the rune!
In real trouble! Without that rune, he can't!
Ooh, that's a blunder. That is a blunder. That was 100% unintentional. Wanted to click the rune, ended up clicking the Wraith King. Does not have mana for time lapse. And Matumba. Those kills are big. It's core on core solo kill. So a lot of gold, claims all of the kill gold as well as the AoE gold on that one, 355.
And now you're starting to really move up in the world of net worth, 3,000 the advantage for Team Liquid. More space for Matumba on bottom because everyone's gone. The rotation in towards mid to help out CCNC comes up for nothing. In fact, Miracle just farms the lane, then moves back to the jungle. And he's already got himself a double stack in there ready to farm up. This is very problematic for OPTIC.
This Alchemist last pick is working out very, very well for them. I imagine the way Liquid planned this when they went for this last pick was that they looked at, yes, we will be facing a Tiny. However, can they actually invade us very easily? Since none of the supports have significant damage or lockdown, they probably felt like even with a slightly losing lane matchup, Miracle will be free to farm for these next 5 minutes and get a lot of items. Who's going to gank him? Your Dragon Knight going to come over there? Maybe Tiny and Weaver together could combine, but...
They have the opportunity at least because he's going for a straight Radiance build. So that Radiance should be up by the 13-minute mark. Tumblr in real trouble on bottom still, doesn't level up that Reincarnation. Now he does, he's got the mana available for it, and a pretty damn big army. Blow him down, Kuro will TP in over, Pycat made his break to the tree line, and they've got help. CCNC is in the neighborhood, and now, well, with the Kuro Lich ulti bounces up, PPD, he will die as well. It reaches far enough, and with the first round CCNC, a hard time getting away from a Tumbleman, just slowed up. GH GH can no longer help. Pycat was too much on him, so Ishikuchi's down to the trees. But GH, he dukes it out, goes to the right side. Pycat's still got another chance because the swarm flies through. It doesn't latch on GH, however, so Ishikuchi's down. There's a Curse Crown. They keep the stun going. Pycat time lapses off before the damage can arrive. With the Bedlam out from GH, Pycat just had to Ishikuchi himself away to the other side of the Creep Wave to safety. Maybe all the way. The Tubber wants to hit him a couple of times, but he is in relative safety. Maybe with CC arriving. Avalanche is going to arrive with the toss. Pycat and PPD. All three combined together to bring down Matumba.
But look at the space. 12-minute radiance.
He relocated in behind, almost to the tier 2 tower, looking for the retreating GH.
OPTIC need to... They need to up the pace here. They can't keep playing at this pace. Miracle's getting way too much. You see him already showing up with this radiance. This has got to be... There's also the mental aspect of this, right? You're playing on a big stage, you're playing an important game, and you see a 12-minute radiance on Alchemist. Yeah. You need to start game planning now, like, okay, this is a problem. Like, what is our solution? And I think if you just play slow, go for a couple of lane picks here and there, and just let Miracle farm, this game only ends one way. Alchemist has played so many games like this. And you look at the late game counters, which is another thing. Like sometimes, yeah, you can give Alchemist a bit of space. You know, it's all right. We've got some of those late game carries that are really good against Alchemist. And this game is like nobody who's going to kill this guy.
Yeah. If they had that late game edge, then yeah, maybe this a better position. They could just continue to do what they're doing, which is hunt everybody else. Zion's in trouble. Just came up for a little bit of a ward mission, and Matumba as well as GH just locking control. PPD, tether away. Zion wants to survive. The Curse Crown's still going to connect, and Kuro will pop him. Just letting that Chain Frost go, very liberal with it. Matumba's not done. Links forward towards Abaddon, but he's done. Borrowed time is available for Abaddon.
He was hoping to proc that, but just didn't get under the damage threshold of 400, so... I believe we're looking at a smoke here. I think they want to go and make a move on the Alchemists.
Exactly what's happening.
Keep waiting. They do have a good aggressive ward, so this is the Weaver as well as Tiny combining. You know what, I'm not...
Is this enough?
That's what I'm wondering. He has stick charges, he has strength treads on.
They don't even have a slow, they don't have a control. It's like CC has the Avalanche and toss Miracle. He stuck around long enough to actually come in range of that high ground, but Chemical Rage starts to wear off with GH and Kuro nearby. They're there to support him. PPD caught inside the bramble, but he'll be fine. 33, he's actually hiding in the middle of like the entire lane. As Mind Control and Matumba were looking for a kill on him, but that early Shadow Amulet's going to allow him to survive, and yes, it wasn't intentional.
I don't think Liquid saw it, but if they did, PPD is a very easy grab right now for 50 seconds. No borrowed time on him.
33's TP down to the bottom lane. OPTIC want to change the point of attack. They want to try and find Matumba, and he blinks over the swarm. Pycat saw him go. They'll create a small little army. But with the Dragon on 33 arriving on bottom lane, this is now tower taking time. This is going to restrict the map of Team Liquid. But that's why they look for the rebuttal. They've got Clinks, the king of killing tier 1 towers.
Yeah, Mind Control's just having a blast, honestly. He hasn't really had to move much.
He's got a higher net worth than any of the OPTIC players.
Oh, Matumba went for the bounty, and this is going to cost him.
Pick him up, throw him down. Matumba did not have reincarnation mana. It was off cooldown.
Yeah, I think he purposefully didn't get enough mana there. He could have sticked to have it, but he didn't want to die twice. So now he at least has his ultimate when he comes alive. He knew he was way out of position there. Getting the bounty rune is still a huge win, though. He is on the Alchemist team, so even sacrificing a core to get a bounty rune or two can be worth it.
33 is using the end of his Dragon Form to try and force in the mid lane, but CTNC attacked up by GH with the Bedlam. He'll go back in towards Roshan. Thinks about the Terrorize, but he's buying time. Alchemist, Concoction, doesn't want it. Actually blinks away before throwing it. And that means CTNC. Oh no! He thought GH was going to walk up the ramp.
Dire structures are fortified.
Oops. Mid lane pressure. Stray will slow this down. Fortification going to do the same type of thing. Kuro, the Chain Frost, it bounces down, and it just continues to work with the catapult against CNC, but he's tanky enough, is he? Not for Concoction. Zaya's doing the best he can to keep him alive, but now gets caught in the bramble. It caught 2 heroes. Now the TP out from 33. He'll have the time because there's no more stuns available. So Tiny as well as Io will pop borrowed time. PPD's got him 2 seconds until shield's up, and he doesn't have that time. Pycat does the best he can to keep the mid lane continuously pushing in towards that tier 1 tower. 68 HP, that's worth a denial.
I love this build from Miracle, by the way. We haven't really talked about his Blink Dagger on Alchemist. You did point out he blinked backwards once. most of the time when Alchemist has a good start, we see them going for this very snowbally approach where you get the Radiance, then you get your next item such as Manta. But in this case, going for the dagger, realizing, well, I'm actually strong enough to just win fights, so why wait?
33 found the perfect target. EH was just sitting in the tree lines. It's only a level 1 Dragon Tail stun, but it was enough. Up to Dragon Form and ensures the kill.
And it's at this point you look to OPTIC and you look at, okay, what's our solution for Alchemist? Can anybody Spirit Vessel here? Io has the urn, but looks to be planning for a Glimmer Cape. And the problem that I still see is Liquid will have these tanky cores, Alchemist, Wraith King, and even the Clinks with Death Pact. All of them will have ice armor. In the OPTIC Gaming lineup, do they have the oomph to get anyone down? Well, maybe now.
They'll try it now. The Observer saw Miracle, and with the swarm on top of him, Miracle's losing armor real quick. Puts down the acid spray, but they bring down the Beast.
Biggest on the map. Alchemist is top net worth. He's on the leading team. And these kills are worth so much money. How much did they get for that kill?
537 gold into Zai.
Yeah, they got 1,000 in total, and Miracle lost 400. So that's a 1,500 gold swing, just that one kill. And you want to look for that Alchemist. It's the defusal reveal from the Weaver that gets the job done.
GH and Mind Control looking to wrap around the bottom. They don't have Bramble available at the moment, so finding a kill is difficult, and you're fairly certain Zai wants to do a relocate gank onto somebody. But the only place they really have to go is potentially top lane.
Yep. Mid tower's already claimed, bottom is claimed, so OPTIC need to find their next objective.
Avalanche! Mind Control, they're still relocating into the tree lines. Actually, cancelled it. Zai does not want to bring everybody in, and with that Pycat, he can time-lapse. PPD freed him from the GH curse, but then PPD, how many times bounces away? So unlucky, but he still wants to try and fight it off. He doesn't have the Borage available, so PPD will end up falling, but Pycat's the bigger one. Shikuchi up, he still does it, but he'll get up the hill and far away. So PPD, we know the fight positions have it hard, but that is just brutal.
That was pretty funny. I think that was 4 bounces in a row where there was 1 or 2 secondary targets it could have hit instead, but it kept jumping to. I mean, in a way, maybe he was happy with it. You know, I'm in on my ulti, so I'm getting healed from it, but the slow stacking is really a problem.
Yeah, but he did his...
For sure.
Yeah. Big pickup and a big reason too why you want to have that Abaddon. It's that saving grace. We've seen a couple of oracles appearing, but OPTIC shield makes it very difficult for Liquid just to focus that target with disables and just pop them. But they're still looking very good, Team Liquid. 9,000 gold advantage. The Manta Style just got completed over on Miracle. OPTIC Gaming need to, you said amp up the tempo. It's still, can they amp harder?
Well, I'm looking for Miracle to amp up the GPM. My prediction was 1k plus GPM.
That'll be good.
That still hasn't been done, I think.
No, it hasn't.
Throughout
the entire group stage, it hasn't.
He's on the way. 815 GPM on this Alchemist right now. Bounty runes are about to spawn, and OPTIC in a good position here to claim at least 2 of them.
Mind Control is ready to fight on bottom lane, but Tumbakura, GH, they're all coming in. The bottom tower should be taken. They see 33 over the tree lines. He'll need a Shadow Blade right now if he's going to survive, and he is invis. They'll reveal him with the dart. PPD's turning around. OPTIC shield gets a little bit more life to begin with. They get hit by the Bramble 2 times over, and that's already triggered his borrowed time. DK will fall, and that will follow through. And Team Liquid tier 2 tower is gone, and maybe more. Zai so low on life. The Radiance Burn got him. The acid spray was ticking it, and Miracle just walks by and gets a drive-by kill onto the Zai.
That Alchemist taunt.
There's a lot of weight to move from foot to foot.
He makes it look easy, and then makes it look easy.
And now they're going to go for Roshan 20 minutes in. It's not like Miracle's got enough money already. He's already staring down the barrel of an Assault Cuirass.
Yep. What's the GPM at now? 837, so gone up 20 since we last looked at it. What OPTIC did manage to do there was at least to grab 3 bounty runes. It's really important against this Alchemist to grab these runes. Things could be looking a lot worse right now. They did also get the tower.
Going after Matumberman with this diffuser blade over on the Weaver. Matumberman getting his ulti off is just impossible. So when they can isolate him like this, OPTIC know they have the kill. The cost is, of course, the Aegis, the Immortal, and it is on Miracle.
And it did seem like Liquid planted him down there as a distraction.
So Mind Control triggers off PPD's ulti again. He's nearby. Avalanche does. He's finally going to try and get rid of Kuro. No, he can't. The raindrop protecting Kuro so well. So CZNC, he can't finish the job. He's tiptoeing around the Bramble. He wants to go again. It's off cooldown in 4 seconds time. They don't know Kuro's in the tree line. Now they know where mind control is. Dragon Tail stuns up from 33. He came under the cover of Invis. Pycast there too. With the Sentry Wars down, there's nowhere for Clinks to really run up to. Or is there? He's still got the swarm on him in mind control. He's actually got the distance. He's got the speed. And he's away.
Only sentries on PPD in that situation, and that doesn't cut it for that kill. And you know what, Toby?
What?
Space for Miracle. He's just farming. He's up to 870 now.
Let me
keep
just
the tally going.
My space created. Copy paste bind.
Yep, pretty much.
And Miracle has practically got the AC.
Yeah. He's getting really, really here.
And BKB will be coming in soon for 33. He needs a little bit more time to farm this one up. I don't know if they can really keep up with the other cores, however.
Yeah, Pycat is closing in on his too. I think it's a good approach here. Optic need two things. They need BKB so that they can stay alive in the fight against all this magic damage and focus fire. And then they need a solution around miss. Those are the two things they need.
Pycat staying nearby for the tether, but it will not happen. They have more than enough control through just Matumberman. They didn't even need anything else for that. And now they find 33. Farming up Ancients, Kuro will storm down the Frost Blast, they Sentry and Observer, and 33 the TP out. Perfect way to play it. There is no more stuns available.
Chain Frost? The sound is nice. It follows all the way.
Tanked, like a bounce. T1 towers now going to be brought down. Liquid, they're ready for this push. The Assault Cuirass has just arrived. So, yep, 23 minutes in, 20,000 net worth. Normally it's pretty good when a team can go with that kind of net worth per minute, but having the Alchemist this big, these BKBs will allow Optic to survive, but it will not allow them to kill. And they're TPing over. The Dire scanning up, Pycat, no, it was going to be safe, trying to get into the back lines. As the lines attack, the Swarm is really good. His mind control, his Kuro, and that's one TTNC. Focus and concoct is done into the rear. They're looking for the kill on Design, able to claim it, so there goes the medic. And then reincarnation. Wraith King gets back to the world of the living, the Bramble. It won't catch anyone from Optic, neither to terrorize. Two huge whips, and Optic have an opportunity with these control factors gone and Chemical Rage timing out. Optic will look to turn this. They've already mentioned nuke down G8 CTNC, sacrificing himself to do this. With none of that burst damage, Optic just have to stay inside their base and fight illusions. They can't even fight the real stuff.
And you still have a second life on Miracle in this situation. The Aegis was burnt. Still, that's the kind of fight that we're looking for from Optic, right? They activate this BKB on the Weaver. The Dragon Knight will have one relatively soon. And, well, it looks like Zai is indeed working on that Spirit Vessel. However, he has to play around a couple of additional problems right now with both the Manstyle and the Aegis. It's a step in the right direction. Optic, they have to just hold on and try to get the items that can bring him down.
He's got the Vision, the Observer and Sentry, but it's kind of the worst target for him because he can't instantly kill it off, and they really would have preferred the DK. But PPD, 8th death in this game. He is half of Team Liquid's kills.
Did you see how fast he died to the Clinks there? That's some serious minus armor stacking. The AC, Clinks as Deso. I'm not sure if PPD was in an Acid Spray as well at the time, but you add those up, it's like minus 15 armor. What armor do they even have on their side? It takes away pretty much all of Tiny armor.
Miracle, Ganamanda, try and actually, well, use the illusions to get rid of the bug as quick as he can.
Liquid got 3 runes.
Yeah.
Toby, you gotta keep your eyes on it, man. That
my eyes are watching.
We're almost there.
I'm watching mid lane. Zai comes in. He's trying to think he's up the cover of Glimmercake, but that Sentry Ward was already down from Liquid, and it is the ultimate trap. Mind Control and Miracle combo with the rest of Liquid. 5 heroes mid, ready to push.
Holding this without Dragon Knight is really difficult. He's going to have to buy back if they want to try to defend these middle barracks. They might just be giving them away. Dragon Knight buying back when he's this close to BKB is really, really annoying.
Miracle's hunting for another kill. PPD, is this going to be your 9th death of the game? Technically it'll be the 11th. 2 of them were on his terms. Miracle, Chemical Rage, he's trying to taunt his way out. He's only got another 2-3 seconds left on it, so he'll run back out through the mid. The tower is gone, so they can attack into the shrines if they want to. As the toss back, they're getting Miracle in real deep. The
he lost Aegis.
Perfect, and without the Aegis Immortal, with him timed out, Miracle can be brought down. Matumba's trying to help him out by coming in closer. The Pycat runs through him. A huge kill, 703 gold worth of a kill, and they're charging forward. CCNC with a stun. Wraith King, he's got 21 charges. Does he want to burn it? Does he want to try and come back to the world of the living? Maybe not, because 33 can't even run away. He'll dodge the stun into the Shadow Realm, and he did actually burn the reincarnation. So Mind Control turns around, tries to take the fight inside. Oh my god, this is not what he wants to be in. And Mind Control, he could have done the double kill. Miracle opened up.
Beautiful
and just
bait.
brought down Pycat. You thought it was OPTIC's fight for a moment.
Beautiful bait. He buys back, has the boots of travel, comes in. They overcommit on Matumba Man. And with these two heroes dead, Weaver has to buy back to try and defend this. And Miracle feels pretty good about buying back here. In case he does die somehow, what are the odds that OPTIC can get down a lane and actually start dealing structural damage with Liquid having this much map control at this moment in time?
Not a lot, and they still need to have the sustain to come in from Zai, but Mind Control is just being given one task, make Zai's life a living hell. Both of these supports, you actually see how much they're being focused. 8 deaths on Zai, it's 9 deaths on PPD. They're not even worrying about the cause, they're worrying about the sustain that OPTIC can give their cause. Delete this, then the cause are an easy thing. We get to see that one moment again as Miracle. Happy just to beat down through the melee racks, and this toss back actually put him in a real rough position as the Aegis timed out.
This is pretty much perfect what OPTIC did there. They could not have made a better play than this exact one, tossing the Alchemist as Aegis expires, and still, again, there's so much in the bank. Liquid have so much leeway because of the huge that they have, and Miracle with a great planned play. They had a lot of time to plan this as well, Liquid. Keep it in mind, that kill on the Wraith King took so long that they could communicate, alright, if they overcommit, I can buy back and come back in. It's a
bait. It's an ultimate bait. It's just the illusion. Now the real team of Team Liquid come through. 33. He did break the smoke almost instantly, thanks to the fact that he was there.
Miracle, you don't have ulti?
But they're jumping over. Miracle, he jumps in close, but then the space created with Terrorize and Chain Brooks. All the damage that Team Liquid need to win this fight. Pycat 33. They just don't have the extra teammates. Pycat, he wants this kill, but he can't even claim Miracle. Denied. Pycat into the trees. They'll get the stun out, and OPTIC, they're all dead. Tribute LD.
It takes some confidence to go in there as Alchemist without ulti. You really need trust in your team. No!
They call it.
984!
They call it. He's so close to getting him, but it won't happen. The Team Liquid have it. Game 1 against OPTIC. It looked close, it looked good, but this Alchemist was a ticking time bomb that exploded on OPTIC.
They took so much advantage of that last pick and found a beautiful solution to this game, and something that we've seen from Liquid a lot, how well they play around each other. This